Hi, everyone. My name is Brittany Minoff. I am the NYC Hospitality Alliance's Communications Manager, and I'd like to welcome you guys to part one of our webinar series, Restaurant Reminders and Resources, where we're going to be bringing in different city agencies to provide some resources and reminders for our city's restaurants and bars when it comes to staying safe and compliant. So for today, each agency will have the floor to present, and then at the end, there will be an opportunity for a Q&A. So be sure you write any questions that you may have using the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen. So for today, I'd like to welcome Berthe Ambroise, who is a compliance advisor at the NYC Department of Small Business Services, Andrew Dushynskiy, who is the Director of Code Implementation and Chief Inspector at the FDNY, and Wendy Wan, who is an architect for technical affairs at the NYC Department of Buildings. So for now, I will kick it off with Berthe, who will give a presentation for you all.
Hi, everyone. Hope everyone is having a good day. Like Brittany mentioned, I'm a compliance advisor with the Department of Small Business Services. Just give me a moment. I need to share my screen. Okay. Can everyone see the slide deck? Okay, so like Brittany said, I'm a compliance advisor with the Department of Small Business Services. The Department of Small Business Services is a city agency that helps unlock economic potential to create economic securities for all New Yorkers by connecting New Yorkers to good jobs, creating stronger businesses, and building thriving neighborhoods across the 5 boroughs. Right in the beginning, before I start, I just wanted to recognize certain hardships that's going on in our city right now. As we know, with Hurricane Ida, a lot of businesses were affected. If you guys were affected, just make sure you reach out to the hotline to gain any resources you might need. The hotline number will come up throughout the slide deck. But just a reminder right now up front, the hotline number is 888 SBS 4 NYC. That's 888-727-4692. And a reminder that Key to NYC starts on Monday, September 13th. If you have any questions, you can reach out to the hotline, but also the website, and especially the frequently asked questions, is at nyc.gov/key to NYC. One good thing is that every city agency's website is just the name of the program. So just reach out and make sure you get the resources you need. But today I'm going to be talking about NYC Business Quick Start. It's a new interagency initiative created by the mayor that started this year. It was created to cut the red tape that businesses might face when they're opening or reopening, or even if you've been in business for years and you just need help through the agencies. The agencies that are involved is SBS, Department of Buildings, Department of Environmental Protection, Department of Health, and FDNY. We're here to help you, and we're always glad to assist. The key features for NYC Quick Start is a concierge service. The business is in contact with a small business advocate. They're your sole point person to get all the resources you might need from New York City. We guarantee a 48-hour response once you guys put in the request, and we try our best to cut at least 50% of the red tape you might face beginning your business, restarting your business, or just operating your business. The Small Business Advocates is a program that's been in SBS for years now. They're a team that helps businesses start, operate, grow. All our services from SBS and the Small Business Advocate team is all free of service. Their main key points is to help you understand key city rules and requirements, connect with the agencies, especially if you guys are having hard times applying for permits, getting your licenses, or even just getting the questions that you need, and help you resolve and understand any violations you might gain as your business, or mainly to prevent any violations your business might face in the future. The type of red tape that is always helped, like I mentioned before, is FDNY, DOB, Department of Consumer and Worker Protection, Department of Environmental Protection, Department of Health, Sanitation. For those under ag and markets, we are glad to help. Financing, SLA, and Con Ed. If you're like in trouble with gas or just having problems reaching out for gas from Con Ed or National Grid, that is some of the resources that our small business advocates always try to help you resolve, get the requirements you need, and start your business off successfully. These are just a short list of the businesses that we help. Mostly, as long as you are a brick and mortar and as long as you've signed the lease, we can help your business, whether you just signed yesterday and you just want to start off on the right foot, or you've been in business for 20 years and there's certain things you want to update or certain things that you are facing. But these are the most common businesses we help in New York City. But never be afraid if you think your business is too different. As long as you have a brick and mortar location, we are always glad to help. These are the examples of what the small business advocate would help you with. For like DOB, we don't apply for the license for you because you still have to go through a paid professional. But if you need updates on your permits, if you just want to see your records, if you're having a hard time contacting DOB, we help try to push it along as best as we can because we know time is money and time is success. So we always want to make sure that you guys aren't waiting too long and you are definitely getting the resources you need. For Department of Health, we could help you reach out. We could help you, if you're a brand new restaurant and you've never opened a business before and you just don't know where to start, especially for all the agencies, we're definitely a good starting point. And then for DOT, especially now, we know that the open restaurants program is a very big thing, especially till the end of the year for our city. We're always glad to help and make sure people start on the right foot, apply on the right foot, and not get the violations for doing something that might help your business survive. The Small Business Advocate team, like I said, they've been around for years. They've helped over 6,000 businesses open and created 50,000 jobs. They can help you guys with recruitment, even just starting off, or just personal, permit navigation. A part of the Quick Start team is our compliance advisors. Like Brittany said before, I am a compliance advisor with Small Business Services. Normally we do site consultations, but especially since we had to pivot during COVID, we do now offer virtual consultations, but mostly our strongest attribute is our site consultations. We go to you make the appointment, we go to your business, whether you're at the top of the Bronx, as far as Queens, or at the bottom of Staten Island. And then we walk through with you. We walk through with you and we try our best to point out any violations from the many city regulations as much as we know. We do one-on-one guidance, and then we also give you guys a custom checklist that we feel is valuable for you guys to continue on the right path. Just like the Small Business Advocate team, we can do it. You just signed the lease last week and you're just a brick and mortar store and you just want to walk through the vision, or if you've been in business for 50 years. We answer all violation questions. We try our best to navigate you in the right way. And just like the Small Business Advocate team, all our services are free. For the time that we've been a team, we have helped 8,000 businesses throughout the 5 boroughs. We have estimated that we've helped eliminate 120 million violations and fines, and we've helped more than 390 restaurants comply with the open restaurants program. With the new open restaurant program, we did pivot and do consultations solely for that. So if you're interested in just that, don't be afraid to reach out to our team. So like I said, the compliance advisor consultations have no violation or fines. We just give you a checklist. And our main goal is just to let you know about the violations before you are in danger of getting the violations. We definitely believe education is key, and that a lot of businesses is not that they don't want to comply, they just don't know. And the city definitely wants to give you guys all the tools you need to be successful and thrive, because small businesses are really the heartbeat of the city. We do the same list as the small business advocates, but most of our consultations come from food service, retail, and personal care. If you think your business doesn't apply, it's always a good thing just to reach out. Like I said, all of these programs could be signed up through the hotline, 888 SBS for NYC. That's 888-727-4692. Also, you could just visit the website nyc.gov/quickstart. I'll be putting all this in the chat. I hope to hear from all of you guys soon, and we'd be glad to help you guys with all our services. And then also, like I said, all SBS services are free, and these are the other services that SBS provides to small businesses. Like I said, the hotline is always there, consultations and webinars. We do have financial assistance programs, online business courses, recruitment and training, business mentorship. One of our most popular is our commercial lease assistance, in case you guys need a lawyer just to look at your lease before you sign, or if you've just signed, or if you've been in business for a while. We have our various certifications like MWBE, and then the business adaptation playbook. Any services that your business might need, SBS has tried to build a program to help businesses success, and I hope you reach out to us. Like I said before, that's the number for the hotline, 888-SBS-4NYC. That's 888-727-4692. I'll put it all in the chat afterwards, and see you guys during the question and answer.
Thank you so much, Berthe. A lot of great information there. All right, so now I'm going to pass it along to Andrew from the FDNY. So Andrew, you have the virtual floor.
Okay, do you see my,
Yes, we see your screen.
okay, hold on. Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Andrew Dushynskiy, and I'm a Chief Inspector, Director of Code Implementation with Bureau of Fire Prevention. Also with us, we have a Chief Inspector Martinez, who is Director of Training Unit. Also, we have a Dr. Thanks, who is a staff analyst from the Public Certification Unit, as well as Deputy Chief Inspector Palacios, who is Acting Director of Transit Unit, who will be able to assist with any questions related to operation of the unit. Today, I would like to talk about arrest and fire safety basics and recent changes to the Bureau of Fire Prevention operations. Restaurant fires are one of the biggest threats to the restaurant business. According to the National Fire Protection Association, approximately 8,000 restaurants in the United States are damaged by fire every year. As you can see from the data, cooking equipment is the leading cause of fires in these properties, accounting for 3 out of 5 fires, which is approximately 61%, as well as 38% of direct property damages. So how can we mitigate your risk of losing thousands of dollars and endangering employees and guests in a fire emergency? First and most important, all required systems for commercial cooking have to be properly designed, installed, and approved. All cooking appliances that produce grease or smoke must be located under the approved type of exhaust system. We have been receiving multiple inquiries whether electrical equipment is required to be placed under the exhaust hood. And this is a very common question. And the answer for this question is yes, if such equipment is produced grease or smoke. The exhaust system has to be designed in accordance with the New York City Mechanical Code by a registered design professional, and design and installation documents have to be submitted to the Department of Building for review and approval. Fire extinguishing system has to be designed in accordance with the New York City Fire Code and manufacturer specifications. Design and installation documents have to be submitted to the Fire Department Technology Management for review and acceptance. And the acceptance test shall be performed in the presence of the Fire Department representative from the Transit Unit. During the acceptance test, an inspector will verify proper installation and performance of both systems, exhaust system and fire extinguishing system. After all systems are in place and approved, they have to be properly maintained. Each fire extinguishing system is designed to protect the specific cooking appliances located under exhaust hood. Any modification to approved arrangement of the equipment, whether you make changes location, whether you change the equipment with different type of power supply. Let's say you did have a gas stove and now you want to have an electrical stove. Whether the size of the equipment, cooking equipment, is changed, or type of cooking appliances, those changes must be assessed by an authorized contractor and may require alteration to a fire suppression system, as well as legalization of such alteration. Exhaust system, including filters, hoods, ducts, and pollution control devices, have to be periodically inspected and cleaned. Filters, as well as cooking appliances that use solid fuel, should be inspected monthly by a trained and knowledgeable person. Entire exhaust system shall be inspected and cleaned quarterly by an authorized company. When FDNY issued tag must be used to indicate that the system was inspected and cleaned. Fire extinguishing system must be inspected and maintained by a company holding a master fire suppression piping contractor license. The list of approved companies who is authorized to inspect and clean commercial cooking exhaust systems can be located on the fire department website under tab Business, All Certifications. So if I'm going to show you how it looks like. So on the fire department website, you would be able to go to a business, all certifications, and you would be able to find a list of all companies that allow to do service of the inspect and clean all exhaust system for commercial cooking. The department building website can be used to verify whether a master fire suppression piping contractor license is active or not. The same, you can log in on a fire department building website, and you can identify whether a specific contractor whom you want to hire has a valid master fire suppression contractor license. What other fire department rules and regulations can impact your establishment? If your facility is provided with the fire alarm system, sprinkler system, and standpipe system, the systems have to be in good working order at all times. Periodic visual inspection shall be performed by a certificate fitness holder, and service and maintenance shall be performed by an authorized contractor. All eating and drinking establishment must be provided with sufficient number of portable fire extinguishers, which should be on an approved type, readily accessible, and in good working order at all times. Each of the portable fire extinguishers shall be visually inspected on a monthly basis by a trained and knowledgeable person who is designated by you, and shall be serviced on an annual basis by an authorized company holding a company certificate. The list of authorized companies are available on the fire department website. Also, depending on a specific activity within your facility, you may require to obtain a fire department operational permit. This is a list of common permits that may be applicable for your specific facility. Currently, Fire Department Public Certification Unit, in collaboration with all Bureau of Fire Prevention Inspectional Units, is working on a comprehensive document called Restaurant Fire Safety Guide. The purpose of this document is to provide detailed information regarding the common fire department permits that may be required by a restaurant and other food establishment, and common violation infractions observed by the Bureau of Fire Prevention Inspectional Units. This document will be available. This document will be translated in multiple languages and will be available shortly on the fire department website. Now, I would like to briefly talk about recent changes to the operation of the Bureau of Fire Prevention. As of yesterday, September 7th, the following services now available online. So you, as the business owner or manager, can get access and view permits and letter of acceptance for your premises. Also, you can schedule appointment for acceptance test or periodic performance test, as well as reinspection of any violations, as well as you can access and view enforcement information against your specific property. And that all can be done online right now. Violation, you can submit a certificate of correction now online for any FDNY summons. You can make online payments and request refund, as well as you can request a PIN and link records to your New York City ID. And those services are available on the fire department website. under tab business. And depending on what do you want to do, whether it's inspections, you would have to log in or create the account if you don't have an account yet. So if you have account, you can log in and follow through. Also, you do have directions on how to do each specific actions that you need to do, as well as in violation orders. The same things you can go through. You can learn how to start using FDNY business, as well as you can do this online. This is all new to the Bureau of Fire Prevention. Now, for any Bureau of Fire Prevention related inquiries or complaints, you can contact the Fire Department Customer Service Center. Fire Department Customer Service Center was established in May of 2019 and processes approximately 2,500 inquiries per month. You can contact them calling 311 and request to speak with FDNY Business Support Center, or you can just simply send email. For any fire code or fire department rules inquiries, you can submit that inquiry directly to the Code Development Unit at FDNY website under the tabs Code and Code Feedback. This link or this website, this web page was created for people to submit inquiries related specifically interpretation of the fire codes, the fire department rules, as well as you can register if you would like to be notified of any changes to the fire code, or if you have any kind of public hearings. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Really appreciate it. So now, Wendy, if you're still there, I'll give you the floor to do your presentation.
Sure, thank you.
Wait a second, I have to stop. Oh, that was me. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay, can everybody see my screen?
We can see it.
Okay, great. So my name is Wendy Wan. I'm an administrative architect with the Department of Buildings. Today I'll just go over a couple of buildings bulletins that we've issued regarding outdoor heating, temporary outdoor heating. I'll start with Buildings Bulletin 2021-006. This one is specifically describes the process for using electric heating outdoors. And so just to give you an overview, for the outdoor restaurants program during the colder months, last year we did allow for some temporary outdoor heating equipment to be installed and used to kind of heat the space to provide a more comfortable space for patrons and staff. So I'll walk you through what's in the bulletin and kind of give you a sense of what's required if you choose to go with, in this case, electric. I'll follow up with the one about gas in a second. Currently, I just want to note that propane heaters are not allowed anymore. That was only under a previous executive order and has been discontinued by Executive Order 200. So no propane heaters are permitted for any outdoor heating. And so let's get into the electric. So you may want to choose either a freestanding electric heater, or sometimes they're either hanging from a ceiling structure or wall mounted on an exterior wall. And so some things to consider just generally when you're dealing with electric heaters. Generally, when you want to make sure that the heater is approved for outdoor use, and that it typically the minimum outlet size is 120 volts. So you want to make sure that whatever outlet that you do, if you need to install outlet, the outlet has to be rated for either damp or wet locations, because it will be outdoors in the weather. And also you want to make sure that the outlet is a GFCI, ground fault interrupter type of outlet that protects in case there's any damage to the heating units to prevent damage from spreading into the rest of the electrical system. You also want to make sure that whatever load the space or building has can carry the additional capacity from these temporary heaters. So some of the steps required in particular for electrical heaters, you want to make sure that you calculate the right number of heaters required, and that's going to really depend on the type of heating equipment that you select. So usually manufacturers will give you an idea of how much space a heater can heat, and then you'll just have to kind of do some math and figure out the number of heaters that you need to heat the space that you want to heat it. Then you'll need either an electrician or a licensed master electrician or an electrical engineer to figure out what the total electrical load would be needed to support those temporary heaters. The master electrician or the electrical engineer will then also have to look at the existing system to see if you have enough outdoor receptacles, or if you can do a branch off of a nearby line. And then also confirm that the panel board can indeed carry this additional capacity without any further upgrades. I want to note that if you don't go with an electrical engineer, you go with a licensed master electrician, that is a requirement, the licensed master electrician. You shouldn't just go with any electrician off the street. And you can also take a look at this website to double check and make sure that they're in good standing. So for this type of work, the electrician can file for the permits and also do the work. So you don't necessarily need to have a design professional like the electrical engineer file for a permit. I have to stress again, electrical work cannot be done without electrical applications of the department and a permit being issued. Once you do have the permit, you can go ahead and start work. Once the work is complete, the electrician will then request an inspection from the Department of Buildings, and we will come out and inspect the work, make sure it's done correctly, and sign off on it. And once it's signed off, you can pretty much begin right then and there to use the heating element, or the heating equipment rather. Just make sure you follow the manufacturer's instructions, because this is specific to the product that you choose to have installed. You want to make sure that if you're using it outside, to make sure that it's kept away from any combustible materials. So like either awnings or canopies, or even decorations or umbrellas. You want to make sure that whatever distance the manufacturer recommends that you keep the heater away from, that you make sure that it's kept away. That'll keep everything nice and safe for everyone. For this outdoor restaurant program, we are allowing the use of temporary cords, not extension cords, but temporary cords that are designed and approved to be used for these higher electrical loads. So electrician or electrical engineer will be able to help you figure out if you can use one of these temporary cords to kind of bridge the gap in case the cord that comes with the freestanding or wall mounted unit or ceiling hung unit doesn't quite reach the outlet that you need. There are certain requirements that they'll have the electrician or the electrical engineer will have to check. And if you do have to run them from inside an indoor space to the outside space, you'll have to make sure that the cords don't become a tripping hazard, and to make sure that the path is clear for pedestrians all along the open restaurant area. I want to stress this again, electrical permit and a department inspection is required for all electrical work, unless it's extremely minor. You will need to get a permit and we will need to inspect. And just for those who are curious, we have a table also in this bulletin that kind of outlines the different code requirements that you'll have to comply with in order to get temporary electric heaters up and running. So that one is the electrical heaters. Buildings Bulletin 2021-007 is about the natural gas powered heaters. And I just want to reiterate again, this is not propane heaters. This is actually natural gas taken from a gas line in the building. So again, propane heaters are not permitted at this time. And so similar to the electrical heaters, you may find them to be in a freestanding form, or you may find them like wall mounted or ceiling hung. Again, you will have to select based on your needs for your space. So natural gas is different in the different from electrical heaters. You'll have to consider other things. So different standards, particularly for gas fire safety, natural gas power safety concerns. So certain piping, these heaters will have to have certain requirements met. You may be able to use some flexible hose connectors in certain cases, but those will also have to comply with some applicable standards for that. You can use the gas heaters with the wireless ignition, so you don't have to necessarily light it on, but there are, again, some requirements that will be required that are outlined in the bulletin. So similar to the electrical heaters, you want to figure out how many heaters you're going to need. And again, this is dependent on the actual piece of equipment that you select and want to use. And you'll need, in this case, a licensed master plumber to kind of help you figure out whether or not the existing gas system can now provide the capacity for the additional temporary heaters, temporary gas heaters. So once you have the numbers of heaters selected, the licensed master plumber can then also figure out where to tap into the existing gas system in order to power the heaters, and also to provide important things like the shutoff, emergency shutoff, and different connection points. Again, a licensed master plumber kind of will ensure that the work is done correctly and up to code. And they can also file for the permits. So one question that we always seem to get is whether or not you can use the flexible hose connectors. And so they may be used similar to the temporary cords in the electrical. You want to make sure that they're not in the way of the sidewalk for pedestrians, and you want to make sure they don't become a tripping hazard. And there are different valves and connections that you'll have to consider when you're using the flexible hose. Again, a licensed master plumber will file for the necessary permits. And then once they get that filed and permitted, they will be able to start the work. Once they finish, there is a different step here for gas other than the electric heaters. They will have to talk to the utility company because they'll have to notify that they'll have to shut off the gas system in order to make the installation. Once everything is done, similar to electric, we will need an inspection. You will have to make some time for that, because I think it's not just the department who's going to make some inspections. The utility may also want to come out and check and make sure that everything is done correctly. But once everything is tested and finished inspections, then the licensed master plumber will have to they can do some of the pre-work to get the inspection ready, and inspections should not take as long as it normally does. FDNY also will have to inspect the final installation, and they will also require the owner to get a certificate of fitness to operate the gas heaters. And once FDNY is notified and gets a permit for that, then they'll have an annual inspection by FDNY. Once all agencies have inspected and gotten the relevant permits, the licensed master plumber would then contact the utility company again to restore the gas service to the building, and then you should be able to operate the heating units in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions. And just to give another, similar to the electrical, we have some code requirements for the different kinds of units, depending whether you're a freestanding or wall or ceiling mounted unit. And that covers both of the two heating bulletins for outdoor dining.
Great. Thank you so much, Wendy. Really appreciate that. And all this information will be available. We'd be happy to share that with you. I know that there were a few questions that were a little more direct to particular folks in their, unique situation, but we do have one here. Propane heaters are currently not allowed, but is there a chance that they will be allowed later in the winter? Folks have invested some money into them and, they don't want to get rid of them and then regret it. So what are your thoughts? I would assume that's for Wendy.
Sure. We understand based on last year, a lot of people probably went out and did the propane heaters for their setup. And it's something that's outside of DOB's direct hand. This is the allowance for propane heaters came from the mayor's executive order. I don't remember which number, but it was an executive order that allowed the temporary use of propane heaters. Then I believe there was another executive order in May that removed that allowance. So I cannot say definitively one way or the other whether propane heaters will be allowed in the winter. It's something that is not in our jurisdiction.
Okay. All right. Great. Thank you. So for now, if there's anything, I know that was a lot of information. If there's any other lingering questions and you don't know quite who to reach out to for, your particular question, you can always reach out to the Alliance. We're happy to connect you. We have great relationships with all of the, city agencies here to help. So I hope you all found this to be informative. So we will be sharing, we'd be happy to share any of these presentations with you if you'd like to refer back. This webinar is also recorded, so we'd be happy to share that with you as well. And if you have any questions, there were a lot of resources that were sent around that are in the chat, or you can also reach out to the Alliance at info@thenycalliance.org. And we would be more than happy to help. So Berthe, Andrew, Wendy, thank you both. Thank you all so much. We really appreciate it. And the Alliance will be hosting another part of this with the Department of Health. So stay tuned, sign up for our newsletter, follow us on social media to get all the information on that. And we hope you all have a fantastic day. Thank you. Thanks again.